What separates a good property management company from a bad property management company?
So unfortunately, I would say the majority of property management companies are not going to get the results that you want. So a good property management company is customer obsessed. When they are customer obsessed, they're able to balance the landlord and residents' needs and wants. Unfortunately, in most property management companies, because margins are so small, they pick one or the other. And so either the resident suffers or the landlord suffers. And the other part of that is if they don't have good systems in place. So for example, if you list your home on the market, as a landlord, your big cost is vacancy. Every day your home is sitting there, it's gonna cost you $50 to hundreds of dollars depending on where your home's at. If a property management company doesn't have a streamlined process to get your home repaired, cleaned, listed online, do tours, the lease signed, knows how to vet residents, knows what you want in terms of pricing, all those things, property management company, they can promise you the world, but your home sits for 2-3 months, you've just lost all the money that you would have gained from any cash flow versus a company that can get it up and listed and your home leased in 30 to 45 days. That's a big difference, but it's really hard to find those property management companies.
And what's a good resource to find those property management companies?
Yeah, so if you Google property management companies near me, you're going to get a lot. There's hundreds of thousands of them out there. You're not going to be able to find it very easily. So there's a few things I recommend doing. The first is Google reviews. It's an okay indicator of how they perform, but naturally in the industry, people are frustrated with property managers. So don't get too hooked on the Google reviews. The second is look at the pricing on the website. And the third is the guarantees. If a property manager doesn't have guarantees, you probably shouldn't go with them because—
What kind of guarantees?
Listing guarantee, how fast they'll get it listed. I saw one yesterday. I was looking for a client of mine in Austin, Texas. They guarantee if they don't get your home leased within 30 to 45 days, they'll refund the first month of management fees. Some have like eviction guarantees. Rent guarantee is a new one that's coming out that I love. So those kind of companies that are larger and have guarantees are great indicators that that company knows what they're doing and they're willing to back it up. So those are the property management companies that in terms of researching, I feel confident that they'll do a good job.
Do you know of any good ones?
I do. It depends on where you are. So for example, in the state of California, and this is the company I work for, it's called Belong. So they do a rent guarantee. So if they place the resident in your home, they will guarantee your rent through the entire lease, 12 months. In the state of Utah, the company that I've become very fond of, it's PMI Incorporated. It's a franchise model. What I love about the franchise model is franchises only work if they're successful. I have one of the property managers that owns one of the franchises, very knowledgeable, knows what he's doing. I have a lot of confidence in his ability to perform as a property manager. So eventually I do plan to hand my homes to a property manager. They're probably going to be one of the first ones I look at giving them to because they've streamlined their processes. They know what they're doing. They're actually throughout the nation too. And that only happens if what you've built is successful.
Yeah, that's awesome. So when it comes to someone who wants to manage their own properties and a property manager, what would draw someone to manage their own properties versus just hiring someone who can actually do it properly?
Yeah, good question. I would say the number one thing people care about is cash flow and money, because when people are transitioning their primary residence into a rental property, they look at how much can I rent my home for and what's the mortgage. Based on that cash flow number, it's pretty clear if they should self-manage or not, because if they hire a property manager, they'll either break even or maybe make a little bit of money. But if they self-manage, they save all that money, but then they're exposed to the risk of if they do it wrong, it might actually end up costing them. The second thing is how close do they live to their rental property. I always recommend if you live more than an hour from your rental, you probably should not self-manage. The only exception is if you have a major support system that you're willing to build and have currently existing to help you throughout the process. I'm helping one client right now. He moved to Idaho due to a family situation, but he has 2 neighbors that are willing to help. His father lives 20 minutes from here, and we've been delegating a lot of the tasks to them. The benefit of this is he's going to be saving about $4,000 year one from doing it himself, but it's only possible through his support network.
Yeah. So when it comes to like cost, there's some legal things that can pop up both ways, right? If the property management company doesn't manage correctly or does something weird, they can get sued. But if you do something wrong as your own property manager, you can get sued. And if you guys don't know, getting sued can cost a lot more than a couple months vacancies, right? So
It's very expensive. You do not want to get sued.
Yep. So let's talk a little bit about that. Like, what are some big mistakes that people trying to manage their own properties make starting out?
Yeah, so first-time landlords self-managing, big mistake is lease agreements. It blows my mind how many get some random Google Doc from a friend or family member. They have no idea what it means, what it says, and they get someone to sign it, and they sign it too. It's not landlord-friendly. It doesn't protect them. It doesn't cover all the things they need to. So you need to get a lease agreement that protects you, written by a lawyer in your state, that is updated with all legal language that is required in your state as well. There's a few platforms I recommend. If you're in the state of Utah, Rentler is great. You pay $25, you get all your legal documents. If you're in any other state, pay for Turbo Tenant Premium Plan, $99 a year, and they will write you a custom lease based in your state with all the legal language you're going to need. So if you do get sued, you have a lease agreement to refer to, because in all the lawsuits that I've been a part of with my property management company, it always comes back to the lease and if one party was negligent. But I just want to say lawsuits are extremely rare. You got to mess up pretty bad to get sued. Yep. Is it possible? Absolutely. But if you do it right, you have nothing to worry about because the lease will protect you.
Yeah, and if you're just able to work it out with the tenant.
Most of the time you settle.
Yep.
If you really did mess up.
Yeah.
That's why I always preach, if you're going to self-manage, you need knowledge and systems. If you're not willing to invest in that, you should hire a property manager who has those. If you just try to wing it, you're probably going to lose time, money, lose peace of mind. That's not the landlord experience anyone should have.